Good day and welcome. Welcome. Haha, this is not pre-recorded. Uh, oh, brother. Yeah, welcome to Predators Proclivity. I wanted to mix things up a little bit coming into the intro. Played around with creating some music. Haven't done that yet, but welcome to Predators Proclivity, the podcast where we look at data from the season for the NHL Nashville Predators and make comments upon it. I'm your host, Preston Proctor. All right, what a game the other night. What a blown lead for San Jose. Which prompted me to go back and to look to see about Max and Men's and stuff like that. There was one, I thought it was Chicago, wasn't it? Oh, great. Now that I'm on air, I can't find it. Yeah, there we go. 4. There was one other game, so I looked up, men's max of the scores in the quarters, in the periods. Okay, maybe I really wasn't ready to do this morning. Trying to be funny, and all I'm doing is messing myself up. No, it was St. Louis. So there have been 2 games so far this year where the Preds gave up 4 goals in the first period. The other was against St. Louis back on the 27th of December. So it's still within the, when I'm looking at the most recent set of games, the second season or the season reboot, whatever we want to call it. One, I guess it's still the same season, but 1.1. I don't know. Anyway, St. Louis scored 4 in the first period, and the St. Louis did hold on to win that game 7-4. And so, of course, the Sharks the other night scored 4 goals in the first period, and then the Preds scored 4 goals in the third period. So the deciding factor was that the Preds won the second period. Hey, what do you know? Won the second period, and the Sharks did not score in the third period. So the Preds did get an empty net goal, but so it prompted me to start thinking about the min and max goals scored this year, and that was kind of interesting. At first, I put down, min and max, right? So the min that you expect somebody to score in a period is 0. And, taking the games just since December 12th, that's not the case. It's kind of interesting. It's not terribly surprising. I guess the thing that's the surprising when you take a look at the min and max from December 12th, so they haven't played that many road games, but the min and max for the first period on the road is 0. Since December 12th, there have been no scoring, and maybe I got to have that right. That doesn't seem right, but on the road with a win, it's 0. And then there is a score. The men's score in the second and third period is 1. When the wins. The men's score on road losses is also 1 in the third period. No, that's the opposing team. The opposing team always scores 1, minimum of 1. When the Preds lose, they score a minimum of 1 goal. Kind of interesting that there's still goals there. But that's from the that is starting back on the 12th. But if we, and I'm a little bit of sidetracked here, I guess. But let me know if that's a problem. I'm looking at my producer. Where's my producer? Looking at my producer. Okay. But going back even to the beginning of the season, the minimum in a win when the Preds are on the road and win. Now, granted, that's still only 5 games. It's not a lot. But they have the minimum goals in the second and third period is 1 when they win. Of course, it's 0 when they lose. But, I thought the numbers like that just kind of jump out at you. It jump out at me. But, that's kind of how it goes. So 4. 4 is the max that they have given up. One was on the St. Louis game was on the road, and so they've got 1 at home and 1 on the road, and the home winds up being a win. So the max goals that they've given up in the first period and won the game is 4 now. Thank you, San Jose, for that. Way to screw up a bunch of stats by, and then of course in the third period it's now 4. For the Preds scoring when they win. Otherwise, it's 2. 2 in every period except, well, not the overtime shootout, but in the max score in the second period is 2 for both the Preds and the opposition. On the road in the second period, the high score is 3. The high score is 3 when they win and 3 when they lose in the second period. But when they score the 3, they win, and when they get the 3 scored on them, they lose. So kind of not terribly surprising right there. The max that the Preds have scored when they lose on the road is 2. Now, it's still going back to the 12th of December, so they're probably not a whole lot different. And it's just, I think that's enough. So that was a tough first period, but thank goodness they righted the ship. And that first period was something. It kind of went against everything that appeared to be the case with San Jose, that they can't score in the first period, and et cetera, and so on, or their lowest scoring is in the first period. And wow, that boy, did that change. Okay. So that's my initial rant. Let's go into the second rant. So there was a penalty called, a delay of game penalty called in the game, and then it got overturned. And the announcers kept saying, "Oh, there was a rule change. There was a rule change." What was the rule change? I mean, they're just sitting there going on and on like, "Oh, everybody knows what the rule change is." Well, no, don't know what the rule change is. Don't follow the rules. But how about outlining what the rule is? You guys are the ones we're listening to. Don't add to the confusion. Well, so anyway, so here I am, I am going to attempt to relieve your confusion, if you're still confused at this point, over the call. Maybe you're confused why you're listening to this podcast, and I can't help you there. But the rule change that they were talking about is with regards to Rule 38. And 38, well, I guess if I told you what Rule 38 was, that would be a good start. What? Dagnabbit. I should have started there. But anyway, so 38.1, the general, it deals with video review. And so 38, I think, is video review rules. But, oh, man, I did not help at all there. So at 38.1, the general, the explanation of the rule, the video review mechanism triggered by the coach's challenge can only be utilized in goal, no goal. And that's what it said last year, and that's what it says this year. This year they added and delay of game, puck over the glass situations. So that is the phrase that they added in to the rule 38.1 with regards to the video review mechanism, and added in that they could challenge things about puck over the glass situations. The rule goes on to say it's intended to be narrow in scope. The original call on the ice can be overturned if and only if a conclusive and irrefutable determination can be made on the basis of video evidence that the original call on the ice was clearly not correct. If a review is not conclusive and or there is any doubt whatsoever as to review of the call was correct, the original call on the ice will be confirmed. And so there is that. And then, so that's the general part of the rule. And then Rule 38.2, situations subject to coach's challenge, they added a section D. So there was an A, B, C, and D. And D is where they say penalty situations for delaying the game puck over the glass. When a minor penalty for delaying the game has been assessed under Rule 63.23 for shooting blah, blah, blah. Basically, that is the part of the rule that says that the coaches can now challenge when a delay of game puck over the glass occurs. What they cannot do is claim that it did happen. If it's not called on the ice, they can't use video review to say there should have been a penalty called. So that is the rule that got added in for this past year. And thankfully, that happened, and the Preds didn't have to go shorthanded again. So, so that is the rule that got added or modified because video review was still part of the game, and they increased what could be what a coach's challenge can cover. So delay of game, puck over the glass, this season is the first time that's been able to be challenged. And so it was, and it got overturned. Yay. Okay, so that's the beginning, covering the game the other night. They made a comment. The announcers made a comment about a block, about a gap. And so I went back and looked up significant dates in the NHL season. And from February 10th to 21st, the season is paused for this NHL four-nation face-off. I have not paid attention to that. I don't really know that I'm going to pay attention to that. I don't know that I actually care. But hey, it's hockey, and I guess the Preds won't be playing during that time. So but anyway, so that's coming up the middle of, or most of February. Was that 12 days? Not most, but 12 days in February. The season will be paused for the face-off. I guess they really like having the break in the middle when the Olympics are around, so they decided to institute one of their own, which I guess I'm going to think about. Yeah, I mean, probably not bad to get a break in there, get people healthy. But, then they have to restart, which is kind of, I don't know. Yeah, let me just simmer on that one. All right, so that's the that is all of that. And the postseason watch. So we are now 46 games in. There are 38 games left. The Preds have 41 points. Basically, they need 52 to get to an estimated 93 to make a wild card spot. So doing, simple math, 52, thank goodness, it's an even number. That's why I'm not, that's kind of the reason why I'm not going off 94. If they do happen to get an overtime loss and start having even number of points, maybe I'll change it because it makes the math so much easier. So 52 points needed. That's 26 wins. And with 38 games left, that kind of gives a buffer of 12. So we've got, about a third of the season left, that a buffer. And that's if 93 makes it. That would, I think, be the minimum needed in order to get in. I think we used to talk about 90 points getting in, but last year that would not have made it. 94, I think, was the minimum that somebody had making the playoffs, but the highest point total of a team that did not make it was 92. So that's where the 93 comes from. Nothing new on the transaction watch. None of the new players have been called up, moved around, anything that I was able to find out about. So there's nothing going on there. Okay, so tonight's game. Hey, we're playing the Sharks. Wow, man. Geez, didn't we just play them? Oh, hey, we did. We did just play them. We just beat them 7-5 here in Nashville, but we get to play them in the Shark Tank. We're going out to San Jose. There's a lot of golf in San Jose. Yeah, I don't think the Sharks are making their postseason plans right now, or at least the Shark fans. I went out to a Shark board. I like that. That's what they should call it, Shark board. But a Shark fan site to see if there was something to find out about Tyler Toffoli. And couldn't figure out anything. But I guess they're talking about making trades, trading for people, trying to bring people in. And I mean, you always got to do that, right? You got to always be looking to make your team better, if not for this year, for next year. There was a trade, I guess jumping a little bit ahead, that San Jose made a trade with Anaheim, the two bottom teams in the Pacific, for minor league players. Right wing Justin Bailey was traded for left wing Pavel Regenda. Bailey from San Jose going to Anaheim, and Regenda coming from Anaheim to San Jose, but that not going to affect tonight's game. San Jose. Okay. San Jose. Let's see. Tonight's game for the Preds is the start of a 2-game road trip. We play San Jose, speaking of Anaheim. We play San Jose tonight, and then Anaheim will be following that trade down to Orange County to play the Los Angeles Ducks at Anaheim. Oh, wait a minute. No, wrong sport. The Anaheim Ducks. The Mighty Ducks. The Anaheim Mighty Ducks. Boy, that's so much better. But whatever. I get why they changed it, but the old logo was kind of neat. But yeah, so we've got a 2-game road trip, San Jose tonight and then Anaheim on Saturday. The Preds have their first 4-game winning streak of the year. It's the longest winning streak of the year. Yay, we're taking that into San Jose. And I think San Jose is willing to let us extend that winning streak. And I think Anaheim will be complacent. Oh, gosh. Anyway, I think I'm hopeful, get a couple wins there. But for San Jose, playing San Jose tonight, it is the second game of 3 with San Jose. We are 1-0 against San Jose, having just beaten them the other night. This is the first of two in San Jose. And they will be playing again in mid-March. San Jose is 14-30-6, and they are 8-14-1 at home. They are 8th in the Pacific with 34 points, 8 points behind Anaheim, who has played 3 less games. Let's talk about a team that is going to be ready for a little bit of a break. San Jose is tied for last in the league with Chicago, who has played 3 less games. And then ahead of that is Buffalo and Nashville. Both Buffalo and Nashville are 7 points ahead. Buffalo has played 3 less games than San Jose, and Nashville has played 4 less than San Jose. For San Jose, this is the first of 3 games at home. Florida comes in on Saturday and Pittsburgh on Monday. So they'll be looking right past the Preds, right past them. Won't remember that game Tuesday night at all. Just move on. Just move on. This is the second time this season they played the same team consecutively. They played Seattle consecutively and back-to-back in a home and away. And won both of those games. So hopefully this will be the opposite, lose both of those games. Speaking of losing, they are on a 4-game losing streak. They're 3-7-0 in their last 10. They've had 4. Now 4, it was 5, but this is not a 3-game losing streak anymore. They've had 4 3-game losing streaks and an 8 and a 9 game. So they go straight, losing. If they're going to lose more than 3, let's just lose a lot. Let's just lose a lot. They lost the first 9 games of the year, and then they lost the last 8 to close out December. So that's where they're at. Notable personnel. I still cannot figure out if Vlasic is Vlasic and Toffoli. I think I heard something that Toffoli was back and skating but just did not play Tuesday. So he may be back tonight. Don't know. Tried to find out. He is their leading goal scorer with 17 and leading shot maker with 131. So I think he is expected to be back tonight. Vlasic, not sure. He's a defenseman, no notable stats. He's only played 5 games this year, so I don't. So him coming back, I don't know would be. Good for him. You don't want to be out all season. It's nice to skate, but impact on the game, not sure. Might have a little bit more jump if he's been out this long, ready to play. New on the injured reserve list, since we went through a lot of this the other night. Number 7, center Nico Sturm is on injured reserve as of the 21st. I think that occurred before the game. No notable stats. Not supposed to be back till the 30th. Klim Kostin, number 10 center Klim Kostin, also on injured reserve. No notable stats. Then their goaltender, 41, Vitek Vanecek, 3-8-1 this season. Also on injured reserve till the end of the month. And then the big fat cheater, number 39 center Logan Couture, been out, I guess, most of the season, so no notable stats. But yeah, Vlasic and Toffoli coming back would be a bigger deal. They did claim right wing Walker Duel off waivers from Calgary. In addition to making that trade, I think he's going to wind up being a minor league player. They have him listed at San Jose, but I think he's going to be transferred down to whatever their minor league team is that I did not look up. Okay. Their players to watch, 73, Tyler Toffoli. Went through it, 71, 72, 73, 64. And I think it worked out that way. Granlund, number 64, center Michael Granlund, unrestricted free agent at the end of the year, along with, is it Eklund? I should have made a little bit more notes on that. But Granlund, I guess the two prevalent Kunin, that's it. It's the ex-Preds are unrestricted free agents at the end of the year. Granlund is having a good season. He's second in goals with 14. He's first in points with 40 because he's first in assists with 26. Third in time on ice, so he's got all that, and he's the leading time on ice forward. Third in shots with 118. Toffoli has first. And that's Celebrini, 71. He had a good game the other night. Young player on an entry-level contract. They were talking a lot about it, the announcers were, and I guess, justifiably so, especially given that he's not making anything then relative to NHL players. $75,000. I think that's the entry-level contract. A lot of people have that. I assume that's the entry-level minimum because that's the lowest I've seen. But I didn't look it up, and I didn't intend to look it up, so you can't add that to the list of things I forgot to do before I came in here. But yeah, number 71, center Macklin Celebrini, second in goals, just like Granlund with 14. fourth in assists, and so third in points. He's got the third worst plus minus at minus 17 on the team. So, there's a lot going on when he's on the ice, I guess is the thing to say. So, 71, 73. Tyler Toffoli, such a good player. I really don't want to see him on the ice because he's just a good player. I hated seeing him leave L.A. Would love to see him in Nashville, but I don't think we have cap room, and it's get too many big dogs and you get problems. Topi has a good season. I hope he comes back and healthy, but why don't you take another night off? So, but yeah, those are the people to watch. 71, 73, and 64. 72 is the assist leader, 26, tied with Granlund for the assist lead and second in points. So, so 71, 72, 73, 64. Hut. And so let's, we talked a little bit about Pred statistics. I've still got this grid up that I made this morning about Max and Men's goals in for the Preds. And the Nashville Predators. Let's keep moving here. The Nashville Predators are 17, 22, and 7. 17, 22, and 7. Getting excited here. I keep wanting to go back and redo my my chart on people making the teams that are potentially going to make the come on, spit it out, the playoffs. Thank you. And keep telling myself, well, wait till the end of it. Wait till the end of the month. Wait till the end of the month. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. What do we got here? We've got 47. We're 47 games in. We'll play the 50th game at the end of the month. Everything points to waiting. Everything points to waiting. Well, I could just start building the grid. I could just have it ready. Have it ready and then put the information in. Wow. Maybe I'll do that. That way, I'm ready. I'll be able to get that data out really fast next time. It's all that to try to stay away from the mentioning the road record. 5-14 and 4. 5-14 and 4 overall for the season on the road. 3-5-0 since the 12th. So hopefully, they had tough road schedule. They had a tough part of the season here recently. So I hate to poo-poo on playing because you still got to play teams. San Jose and Anaheim can still beat you. I mean, we saw that the other night. You can't look past them, and you can't just say, "Oh, this is going to be an easy game" either. But we got 2 games against San Jose, played 1. Anaheim, Vancouver, Buffalo, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh not having the great season either. Vancouver, the wheels have spun off up there. They don't know what they're doing. But, coming into this, we played Minnesota, Vegas, Washington, Winnipeg, Minnesota, Winnipeg. I mean, since, December 30th, we played Minnesota and Winnipeg twice, and Washington and Vegas. It just a tough part of the schedule. Winnipeg, Minnesota were both on the road. Since the 12th. The 12th away loss to Colorado, and then losing to St. Louis, Winnipeg, Minnesota, beating Vancouver and Calgary, then losing to Winnipeg and Washington. Washington was at home. But that road trip was a tough one. So even since the 12th, the road record isn't great, but overall it is what it is. It's a record. Anyway, so let's move on. The Preds are 7th in the Central Division with 41 points. They are 7 points ahead of Chicago. who has played one more game than the Preds, and they are 6 points behind Utah. So they are just right there. You know, it's the Preds. It's like if you're on the highway and you're driving down the highway, and you know you got the cruise control on, and you're just cruising down the highway, and you just got through a whole bunch of cars, but there's nobody really behind you for like half a mile, and there's nobody up ahead of you for the half a mile. That's where the Preds are in seventh place here in the Central Division. There's a team. There's another group of vehicles up ahead, and we've got that cruise control on, and maybe we'll catch up to them. So that's kind of what that's looking like. But hey, keep winning. I mean, Utah can stay out there. I mean, they're not going to take seven. So seven teams can't go in from one division. Five can go in, but not seven. So seventh isn't going to get us anywhere. So this game tonight, it's going back. We're still playing San Jose tonight. Come on, talk about the game. This is the first of a 2-game road trip. The Preds in the last 10 are 6-4. 6-4. Personnel changes, nothing new from the other night. Jankowski, Evangelista, and Lazan are all still out. The dates kind of keep getting pushed back. Lazan may be back for Anaheim, currently estimated to be back for then. Jankowski out till after that, and then Evangelista, it's about a week into February. We did get number 36, right-wing Cole Smith back. He was reinstated, played in that game the other night against San Jose. But those aren't players to watch because, well, 3 of them aren't going to be in the game. We've got in first in goals is a tie. We have a tie now. Philip Forsberg and Steven Stamkos, number 9 and number 91. There's a lot of 9s in here. 9 Forsberg, 59 Josi, 90 O'Reilly, 91 Stamkos, and 81 Marchmont. Well, that's divisible by 9. 9 times 9, 81. Wow. And then you got number 37, Nick Blakenberg. And added to the list of people to watch, number 40, center Fedor Zvechkov. Fedor, probably Fedor, because it's like Fedorov, right? Probably Fedor. I don't know. So he's first. So, so 37, that's not divisible by 9. That's odd. It's an odd number. It doesn't add up to 9 either. Neither does 40. I can't talk about those two guys because there's no 9 anywhere around their names. The 90s line? Can we have the 90s line? You got Josi. Anyway, moving on. So Marcia Schalt, number 81, Marcia Schalt, second in points, second in shots. Forsberg, first in everything. Goals, assists, points, and shots now. And watching the plus minus on Josi, it's down to 23, got to 17, now it's 19. It went down with the game the other night. I guess 12 goals scored overall. So, oof, But yeah, O'Reilly out there, fourth in time on ice. So the most time on ice for the forwards is O'Reilly, number 90. He's fourth in shooting percentage at 16, which is high. I mean, for most players, 16 is pretty good. Stamkos has gotten up to third. He's 16.5%, 16 goals on 97 shots. But Zvechkov is first. He's starting to play a lot more games, so I tend not to try to mention the people unless they got significant stats. But he does have 5 goals on 25 shots. So that's starting to look like a significant enough number of goals to talk about. the obviously the guys to watch: number 81, Jonathan Marchessault, number 9, Forsberg, 59, Yossi, 90, O'Reilly, 91, Stamkos, number 37, defenseman Nick Blankenberg. He's first in plus minus with 11. There are only 4 players that are on the Predators team that has a plus minus above 0. Gravel is one of them. He's with the AHL team right now, but Hanostra and Wilsby are the other 2 in addition to Blankenberg. So that with the goal scoring and winning a few more, that should start to change a little bit. So what are the Preds like on the road? Well, back to that record, 5, 14, and 4. But looking since the middle of December, the 12th of December, they are 3, 5, and 0 on the road. And so that's those stats. So given that they are 3, 5, and 0, oh, gee whiz. They're 3, 5, and 0, and that perfectly correlates to whether they get the first goal or not. So they've gotten the first goal 3 times and not gotten it 5. When they get the first goal, they are I don't like. It's only 8 games, but I was just the other night. San Jose got the first goal again, and the Preds won. So 2 games where they did not get the first goal and won the game. So that eliminated that 0 on the front of that, because it was 0-6 and 0 when they did not get the first goal, and that is looking at since the middle of December. So I was happy to see that. Because it's going to happen. So it's nice to have it happen and then move on, right? So maybe we let San Jose score the first goal tonight, and then just move on and then win the game, and that way we can get rid of some of these zeros. And don't think we really want to look at what it overall, although it wouldn't hurt. Let's just, there it is. Okay. So overall on the road, they're 4, 3, and 2 when they get the first goal, and 1, 11, and 2 when they do not. So very brutal right now when they do not get the first goal. Overall, the season, they are going back to the beginning of the season, they're 12, 6, and 5 overall when they get the first goal. So it's a 2-1 advantage there. Well, is it 2-1 because the overtime? So it'd be 12, 11. Not really, but there's still a lot of points in there. And 5, 16, and 2 when they do not. So not getting the first goal this season has not been a good thing. At home, not so bad, 4 and 5 when they don't get it. But this is an away game, and they're 1, 11, and 2 when they do not get it since the beginning of time, or the beginning of the season, as it were. So, so looking at it just from the middle of December, it's a perfect correlation. So let's not, I'd prefer the Preds to get the first goal and the San Jose not to score all night. That would be the best. That would be the best, but that's unlikely to happen. So that's the first goal. Winning by period on the road. The Preds on the road 1, 2, and 5 in the first period, 4, 3, and 1 in the second, and 2, 5, and 1 in the third. Again, they're 3 and 5, so not maybe not fair. Maybe it's not fair to look at that. Interesting, when they win, when they win on the road, the first period, it's 0-3. So they in all three games that they won, they were tied. I think, didn't I see this that on the road, zeros. So the Tide not only tied, but when they win, nobody scores in the first period. So that goes to the So the second period, first goal in the second period, the Preds are 3-0-0 on the road during this time, 0-2-0 in the second period, not getting it. So, three times the opponents get it in the first period. Yeah, so right now, when they win, nobody scores on the road. But they do win the second period. Yes. They win the second period. Interesting. They get the first goal in the second period, and they win the second period on the road. So when they lose, they're 1-3-1 and 0-5-0 in the third period. When they lose 1-2-2 in the first, when they on the road when they lose, and that's again, that's just since the middle of December. The result correlations. How do these things? How does this correlate on the road? Do we want to look at on the road? So 4 times they have won the first period, and they lost all of those. 1-5 when they lose it, and 4-9 when they tie it. The second period, they're 5-2 when they win the second period. 5-2, 0-10. 0-10. How could it be 0-10? Oh, that's overall. I got to look at something else here. So that was overall. 0-10. When they lose the second period, that particular graph doesn't change with the dates. So during this stretch, they're 0-1 when they win, 0-2 when they lose, and 3-2 when they tie the first period, all the first period. Second period, 3-1 when they win the second period, 0-3 when they lose it, 0-1 when they tie it. Winning the second period is a big deal. The third period, 2-0 when they win the third period, 0-5 when they lose, 1-0. The ties, taking out the empty nets, though, it's 1-1 when they win the first period, 1-2 when they lose it, and 1-2 when they tie it. So definitely the stronger correlation to the second period. Overall, the second periods, they're 7-1 when they win the second period, 6-2 for the first, and 7-0 for the third. So I think the pretty strong correlation there with winning the second period. When is the winning goal being scored? Scored. On the road, overall, 75% of the time, it's the second period. For the Preds, a third of the 3 wins, winning goal scored second period, 100% of the time. And for the opponents, 60% of the time in the second period. So the home win, 42% of the time. It's in the second period. That's a high score. And when the road team wins, 60% of the time, it's in the second period. So we're definitely looking at second period wins. It's a little different than last season. Last season, 50% of the time, the home team, when the home team won, they would score it in the second period. But when the visiting team won, it was primarily in the third period with 43%. But that is different this season, and it's not just for the last bunch of games either. Going back to the beginning of time, October 10th, 2024, the beginning of time. Overall, 37% of the time, the winning goal is being scored in the second period, 26% of the time in the third. Scrolling down here to look at when the home team wins, still, the home team is winning, getting the winning goal in the second period 33% of the time, and the visiting team getting it 44% of the time in the second period. So, yeah, just definitely the games are being won in the second period this season. When the Preds win 80% of the time for the season, now, granted there's only 5 wins overall for the season, 80% in the second period for the opposing team, 44% of the time it's in the second period. So everything just points to the second period this season. Is there anything? Okay, well, all right. So here's one stat that's okay. So at home for the entire length of the season, the beginning of time, it's actually the third period. The Preds at home, 30% of the time get the winning goal, 30% of the time the winning goal is scored in the third period here in Nashville. When the Preds win, 33% of the time they're getting it in the third period, and the visitors are 27% for second, third, and overtime. So that's one small ding to the third period, but otherwise we're looking really strong for the second period, getting the winning goal. And how did that go the other night? That was not the case the other night. The winning goal was scored in the third period. See, the Sharks had 5. They got 4 in the first, 1 in the second. So they had 5. They scored 5 at the end of 2, and the Preds had 3. So they had to get 3 goals to get to the winning goal. And then they got the empty net. So, yeah, so that's so the last game was the third period, but in general, it's looking like the second period is where things are happening, where the game is being decided, and not real surprising. Let's see. Okay, we are not back at the beginning of time, right? No. I think we are still looking at the beginning of time. Yeah. So let's look at the goal scoring here, and how are the Preds doing in the goal scoring department? The 4 goals by San Jose in the first period did not help, but the Preds are still outshooting or outscoring the opponents in the first period, 15-14, outscoring in the second period, 19-17, and now outscoring in the third. So 22-20, taking out the empty nets. That's not. No, that is right. 14-15. So taking out the empty nets, the Preds are being outscored in the third period by 1 still, but yeah, and then, okay, so looking at on the road, when they're being outscored 4-8 in the first, when they win, it's zeros across the board in the first period. So I wouldn't mind seeing that change too. I guess I really don't want to see San Jose get the first goal, but I guess if they have to, the Preds, it'd be nice for these zeros to go away, for the Preds to go away, the Preds to win and score in the first on the road, and that would be nice. In the second and third period, when they win, the opponents have only scored 1 goal to the Preds 6 and 5. Overall, on the road, though, interestingly enough, they're being outscored 4-8 in the first, but outscoring 9-8 in the second, and being outscored 9-11 in the third. Taking out the empty nets, it's still a 2-goal differential, 5-7, so no blood there. So overall on the road, the Preds are scoring about 2.8 goals a game to the opponent's 3.4. Taking out the empty nets, it's still a 0.6 of a point differential, 2.3 to 2.9. And interestingly, that's goes across the board. On the road, when they win, they score 2.3 goals. When they lose, they score 2.2 goals. But it's the opponent score 0.7 when the Preds win and 4.2 when they lose. So that's interesting. 2.3 when they win and 2.2 when they lose. Now, not the biggest sample set here, but still an interesting metric. 2.3, and then so 2.3 when they lose overall. They score 2.3 goals. So that 2.3 shows up here, 2.5 when they lose at home. So 2.3. You got to get more than 2.3 goals. That's what I'm hearing. On the road, 2.3 will get a victory. 2.2 won't, but 2.3, I guess it's a race to 3. That's what it's looking like. So overall, when they lose, the opponents are scoring 4.1. That's taking out the empty nets. Leaving those in for grins, it's 4.9. So 2.3 for the Preds, 4.9 for the opponents. Normalizing it out, 3.4 when they win and 1.8 when they lose. 2.3 at home is what the opponents are scoring when the Preds win. So 2.3 shows up there again. The Preds scoring 3.9. So 2.3. So 3 goals. The first to 3 is what it kind of looks like here. In the Preds season, at least since December 12th, and that's I think that's the you can go back and we can look at the whole season just as a point of comparing. But I think given with season 1.1 or the season reboot, I got to come up with a better name for that. But looking at it from that standpoint, I think is a better indication, and probably just looking at things from an overall standpoint, they've got more. What is it here? They've got 9 home and 8 away. So yes, a 17 kind of gets close to my not my metric, but 20 games to be 20 data points to be statistically significant. We got 17. So this overall, it's getting close to that. So I think if we look at overall what the team is doing, and then just trying to compare to see how it looks from a holistic view. There we go. Let's use one of those meta words and move on. Holistic. The special teams, taking a look at that, I did create my column to make it easier. In the game against San Jose, the Preds did have 2 more special teams goals and that's taking out the empty net. It was 3, a differential of 3, but they did have the empty net goals, so there was 2. So having the greater number of special teams goals, it does kind of indicate whether they're going to win or lose. Against Minnesota, it was 0, so that's the win against Minnesota. Yeah. The win against Minnesota, it netted out at 0, taking out the empty net goal. The win against Chicago, they had 1. The win against Vegas, the exception to prove the rule, they were down 1. It was even, but they did get the empty net goal. So that taking that out, Vegas did have 1 extra. The loss to Winnipeg and Washington were both even. It was they both were -1, but taking out the empty net goal, it was even. The win at Calgary, they were up 2, taking out the empty net. The win in Vancouver, they get 2 empty net goals, so that was also 0. And then the loss to Minnesota, it was -4. Winnipeg was -2. The loss to St. Louis was 0. And here's another exception to prove the rule. That St. Louis got an empty net goal, so it was actually a positive for the Preds in the loss to St. Louis. But in general, what you want is to either exit the game kind of even on special teams or do better, and to do better. The special teams, remember, I do count what I call just after, or the league, or most people, I guess, call them continuation. But for me, just after just kind of rolls off the tongue, and then my abbreviation is JA. And so then if I'm looking at C, what the heck am I looking at? Anyway, so just after goals count, anything scored within a minute of the expiration of a penalty can be somewhat attributed to the momentum that was gained during that special teams play. So you like to get credit for that happening, and looking at it from that standpoint. All right. So that's special teams. Matchups. The matchups. Nashville swept San Jose last year. They won Tuesday night, so they've got a 4-game winning streak going against San Jose. Nashville scored in every period of all 3 games last year, and scored in all 3 games Tuesday night. And in all 4 of those games, they scored 1 goal in the first period. So that's bizarre. And reason to expect that trend to stop just because they're on the road. And so, yeah, I kind of like that. I do like that. Nashville scoring 1 goal in the first period tonight in San Jose and getting the win. And then we just will be at 5 games where that has happened. Again, kind of have to like scoring in all 3 periods, which they have done in all 4 games so far too. Going back to last period. Last season, they were 7-0-2 in periods. So they 2 ties, but otherwise they won the periods. It also kind of indicates, a win. If the other team doesn't win a period, they did win a period. That was the first period they've won, obviously, in the last 4 games. They did win the first period the other night, 4-1. Last season, the Preds did get the first goal in all 3 games, but did not Tuesday. So you can't toss that out, but you don't have to worry about it. Looking back at the power play, San Jose is 26th in the league. The Preds have moved up 4. I didn't look again today after yesterday's game. They may have gone back down. But as of yesterday, they were moved up 4 to 16th. 28 goals on 132 opportunities to San Jose's 26 goals on 144 opportunities. So they're getting more opportunities, scoring roughly about the same number of goals. And the penalty kill, San Jose did drop 4 to 20th, and the Preds are 6th. The penalty kill, the San Jose is 77% or 78% to the Preds 83, so 5 percentage points is half the league. The opponents are scoring 33 goals on 148 opportunities for San Jose, and only 24 against the Preds in 138. So an additional 10 opportunities for San Jose and 9 additional goals. So that's pretty significant. And the Preds did get did get a power play goal the other night, didn't they? They got the Preds got two power play goals. Two. The Preds got one. The Preds also got a just after goal the other night. So they got they had the penalty, they scored the goal, and then they scored another goal really quickly. So then they got the empty net. So they had 4 special teams goals. Back to special teams. But that's so yeah. In the penalty situations, both penalty kill and power play, the Preds are better than San Jose. But there's only I would prefer that the Preds don't get into penalty situations and have to worry about doing that. Yes, San Jose is still 20th in penalty kill, and Nashville is 6th. And just taking a quick look here at the power play. And what were they? They were 20th. Oh, so it gets to scroll quite a ways. So Nashville is still 16th and 16th in the league at 21.2%. And San Jose is still 26th. So that did not change overnight. Bunch of games yesterday. I forgot to take a look to see and I did mean to do that. So that goes onto the bingo card. I was listening in on a webinar this morning and trying to update my sheet, and apparently I didn't update my stats the way I wanted to, and I got nothing out of the webinar. Yeah. As far as goals being scored, the San Jose and Nashville are 2 of the most scored upon teams in the league. San Jose has given up 130 to Nashville's 121. I think if I remember right, though, the Sharks have played 50 games to Nashville's 46. So they played 4 more games and given up 9 more goals, which in and of itself doesn't sound terrible. But so they are scoring goals. San Jose is 26th in the league, and Nashville is 30th, although that, I suppose, could have changed too with last night's games. And take a quick look down here. Nashville is still 30th with 121, so that did not change. San Jose did drop to 27th, tied with Vancouver, but yeah, so giving up 33, 49, and 44 is what, or scoring 33, 49, and 44 is how San Jose are getting their goals. So mostly in the second period, last night's game or Tuesday night's game notwithstanding, the Preds are scoring fairly even, 36 in the first, 39 in the second, and then 44 with 14 empty net goals at 30. So without the empty nets, they're primarily scoring in the first and second periods, not in the third. Being scored against San Jose is tops in the league, and that did not change overnight. Having given up 178 goals this year, they've given up 178 to Nashville's 144, primarily in the first and second and third period, primarily in every period. 57, 54, and 65. They've given up 10 empty nets, so that's 55. So taking out the empty nets, 57, 54, 55. With 50 games, having played 50 games. Yeah, kind of like how that all rolls out. A goal a game. They're giving up a goal a game. The Preds are 15th in the league in goals against. So right smack dab there in the middle, still there in the middle at 144 goals given up. This is be interesting. they have given up 34. 34 goals in the first period, 4 the other night, and 51 in the second, 52 in the third. Oh, excuse me. And a lot of those are 14 empty net goals there as well. So, so the second period, they are 11th in the league in giving up goals. The Predators' 34 goals puts them 28th in the league. So they are one of the stingiest teams giving up goals in the league. The bottom being the Kings at 26. So they're playing really well in the first period, not giving up a lot of goals, not scoring a lot either. 36. 26th in scoring and 28th in being scored on. I guess that explains the 0-0 that I saw. And then in the second period, the 51 puts them at 11th and the 52 13th. The 65 goals against for the Predators in the third period puts them solidly in second spot. And so the Preds scoring 4 the other night helped them stay there. The Penguins are the only other team to score, have more goals scored against them in the third period, and that is 66. So only one more. The Sharks have had 2 goals more scored against them than the Penguins. The Penguins are second. So we play Pittsburgh in a couple of days. And remember that. Lots of goal scoring in the third period against these two teams, which is kind of nice, especially if you're already winning the game by the time you get to there. So that's what to expect from a goal scoring standpoint. Again, that the Preds being very stingy in the first period did not show up the other night, but they still wound up winning the game by taking advantage of the third period charity. Third period charity of the San Jose Sharks. All right, moving on to momentum. So coming in tonight's game, San Jose has lost their last 4. They are 3-7 since in this new year, since losing 8 in a row. So they're 3-7 since then, lost their last 4. Nashville has won 4 in a row, and it's the first time this season. So it's the longest winning streak they've got. So let's have both of those streaks continue. So San Jose losing their last 4, Nashville winning their last 4. Goaltenders. Went through a lot of this. Georgiev played the whole game against Nashville, which I guess why pull him. And so the backup now for San Jose is Askarov, who was traded to San Jose back in August. And he's been pressed into playing. He's fine. No. He is Askarov. I don't have Askarov's record. How do you not have Askarov's record? Oh, no, there it is. 3-4-2. So Askarov has been placed into the backup with Vanecek's injury. So he is likely to be the starter tonight since Georgiev started the other night. And then for the Preds, Saros, who's 11, 18, and 6, playing 2 for every one of Annanen's goals, who is 5-2. Now he came in the second period and picked up the win. Saros was in goal for all 3 last year, and didn't face him for Colorado. Saros started versus San Jose, and then Annunen played 2. So I'm thinking it's Saros in goal tonight to pick up the pieces and move on. Since Askarov played two periods the other night, I think it's going to be Saros tonight. So there you go. That is the that is your goaltenders for tonight. My anticipation of who are going to be the goaltenders tonight. Players to watch. 71, 72, 73, 64. 71, 72, 73, 64. 64, Mikael Granlund. Number 73, Tyler Toffoli, if Toffoli is playing. Otherwise, and in addition, 71, Celebrini. Those are the probably the main people to watch. I mean, the Eklund, number 72, Eklund is an assist and points leader. So that's and it makes it easier. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So those are your San Jose Sharks to watch for tonight. Tonight in San Jose, the Nashville Predators are playing. What time is that game? Hey, great question. 9:30. 9:30 here in Nashville. Oh, that's the problem with going out west. Ooh, 9:30. Tonight's game, 9:30 in San Jose. The Nashville Predators take on the San Jose Sharks. And hopefully come out with a win. That first period made me nervous, but anyway. So that's tonight's game. San Jose Sharks versus the Nashville Predators in San Jose for the first game in San Jose versus them. The second game against San Jose this year, and we will talk to you tomorrow about the upcoming game. But anyways, I guess I needed more coffee this morning. Anyway, thanks for listening. I'm Preston Proctor, and you've been listening to Predators Proclivity.